All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Macaw Podcast Universe. We are live. No, we're not. What am I talking about? We are on the main feed and the Patreon feed this month with our 6-year anniversary episode. And you're probably going, that's you rubbing your eyes because you being a Macaw Podcast Universe historian are going, wait a second. Last year, they said they were going to be covering the treasure on the Sierra Madre, and this episode says 6 years and better man. That's right, folks. We took an audible, but provided by yours truly, because it's time for me to talk about my latest obsession. And
Mike has been doing nothing but stand on a soapbox since this movie's come out, and he is doing it. He's still standing on that soapbox.
I am, and it is soap that has no fragrances, and it has no extra dyes because I have really bad eczema. Yeah. Now, here's the deal, folks.
TMI.
This episode's going to be a little bit different because Better Man has been faced with an inexplicable problem. And it is that when I tell people about this movie, if I tell them about it little or tell them about it large, people go...
Little people or large people?
No, if I'm explaining it like quickly, just to say that it's good to see, or if I'm going into depth, people's reaction is, oh yeah, I'm not going to watch it, but okay.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like you had fun, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so this episode is not going to be your typical Macaw Podcast Universe episode because I'm coming in here to convince you, the listener, to go see Better Man.
Mm-hmm.
Because I love this movie.
Where can people watch it?
Right now, as of this recording, it's on Paramount Plus, but it is May, and it should be coming out on Blu-ray this month.
Okay.
And so we can have some screenings at the Macaw House if you want to come over and watch it.
And so someone might say to you, Micah, when you tell them to watch this movie, they might say, yeah, of course, Micah, a movie starring an ape. Of course you would love it.
And they might say the same to you, right?
Yeah.
And that is a big part of this.
And they wouldn't be wrong.
Yeah, I'm not gonna beat around the bush and pretend I don't like movies that star apes. Okay. Last year we spent 11 weeks talking about apes, and it was too short a time period.
Yeah.
Frankly. But I'm not immune, or I'm not. It's not the only requirement I take because there was another movie that came out last year that had apes in it called Wicked, and I thought not very good.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily the movie's fault. It's more of a story problem.
They fly.
But yeah.
Right? That's why?
No, that's not why. I love flying monkeys. I like the original Wizard of Oz. I love finding out how they flew, though, and why they got that curse.
I can't talk about it. I'm allergic to that movie.
Yeah, it's yeah. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about something positive, and that is Better Man. So first of all, my name's Micah.
I'm Jordan.
And if you've never heard this before, that's wild because we're diving you into the deep end of what we do.
Talking about a movie that's not part of a franchise, not necessarily what we do.
Okay, you're right. You're right. But so in the past on anniversary episodes, it was our opportunity to talk about a movie that we really loved.
Uh-huh.
Last
year we talked about.
Was it There Will Be Blood last year? I think.
Oh yeah, I think so.
Because I think we did 2 Land Before Times, and then we scrapped that idea, and then we did Scott Pilgrim. We did There Will Be Blood, which made me want to do Treasure on the Sierra Madre, and then we must have done another one because this is our 6th year.
But one that you've picked.
It would have been, yeah, but I can't recall what it was.
I don't know.
Anyway, so these are movies that I think these are like personality movies. You know what I mean? There's movies that you like. There's movies that you see and you go, I understand why that's good. And then there are movies that when you see them, you go, oh, this is like, I don't know if it's reflecting part of who I am as a person, or if it is just like, oh, this is now a part of the pantheon of like the pillars of Micah McCaw's brain.
Yeah.
And we have our most recent entry, and I'm telling you, it's Better Man.
And I think part of it does have to do with the reactions or responses that people have given you about the whole, great, I'm not seeing it though.
Yeah,
Like,
I've
being
had
so
to kind of
dismissive
double
of it.
down. Yeah.
This movie is, in our experience, I'll say more for you
Yeah.
than for me. This is the Bradley Cooper of movies for some reason, where
Wonderful, wonderful example,
for
Jordan.
some reason, people very close to our hearts can't stand Bradley Cooper, and it perplexes us.
Yeah,
Mike
and when we've asked for reasons, it's he like tries too hard, and I don't like that. Or I don't know, I just don't like him. So there's not like a reason. It's not like, oh, he was so bad in that movie I can't unsee it or something like that. It's like he just like seems like he likes acting too much, and I don't like when people are passionate.
he doesn't let people sit on set.
Yeah. So this is that movie. Yes, you're right. Please, I'm cutting you off because I'm excited.
Yeah, no, it's just so perplexing. It's hard for me not to get worked up about it.
Yeah.
I love Brad, and it's happened a little bit with Glenn Powell too. And it's like, I think that's people just being resistant to a hot person who knows they're hot.
Yeah.
And is trying to make big moves. We don't need to get fully into Glenn Powell, but Mike and I are like, yeah, he's great. Let him be the next Tom Cruise or something. Because Mike and I think that he has the potential.
Yeah, I do think he's got the potential to be the next Tom.
We need that. We need that fun Hollywood stuff. It just, we don't have that much anymore.
Yeah.
Because things have changed. Movie stars have changed, and it's like,
but they're coming back, you know, and we want to be here for that, you know, and we want to be in their corners, you know, when it happens, you know.
That being said, Micah saw. I'm just going to speak for you.
Okay,
you saw this movie.
I have so much more to say.
It was a double feature for you on the day that we watched it. The first movie that we watched that day was Game Changer, starring Rom, and I can't remember his last name.
Ramjan, I think.
I don't know. That doesn't sound right.
Okay.
But
I'll look it up.
He is the fire in RRR.
Yes.
And boy, is he the fire.
Yeah.
So we saw...
The guy looks good.
That movie in
That's
theaters.
what Jordan's trying to say.
It was like minimum 2.5 hours. It probably was more. And it was one of the loudest... Actually, no. It was the loudest movie I've seen in theaters. It was jarring. I had a headache afterward. I think it was too late in the day, but it was like, I wish I could take a nap after seeing it. And that movie rocked. And then Micah followed it up with Better Man.
Yeah. So
that's crazy.
Can I tell you, my internet's not working at the or Letterboxd isn't working. So this is what happened to me. In our next episode, you'll hear about my Gladiator 2 experience. I go to see Gladiator 2 with my sister, her roommate, her son, and my dad. And
that's Thanksgiving weekend.
I'm excited. And I see this trailer for this movie. And it starts off...
That was the first time you saw it?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah. This trailer comes out, and I'm seeing this ape, this chimpanzee, running around, singing songs, snorting cocaine, and it's saying the incredible true story. And I think... Excuse me, there was a
famous ape pop star and no one told me about it.
Yeah, I was like, what is going on? And I'm thinking, like, is this something to do with the gorillas or something? Like, what is this?
Yeah.
And then it says the true story of Robbie Williams, to which I thought, I didn't know that Robin Williams did music. That was my reaction. And then I was like, wait, but he's British. Like in this movie, what's happening?
Yeah.
And then I was like,
then also
okay.
the time period would make no sense. Should have
none
made
of
no
it.
sense to you.
None of it was making sense to me. And so, but I saw that and I was like, whatever this is, I want to see it. So all these people who I've told about the movie, and they're like, oh, is that the ape movie? Or is that the movie where there's the monkey? And that's how they say it too. It's so dismissive, like that doesn't mean that the movie has quality.
I know. And it's like, have you ever seen a Planet of the Apes movie, buddy?
Yeah. You're showing your true colors, asshole.
Oh, wow.
So I'm kind of like, oh, okay, you know, I'm just seeing this trailer and I'm like, this just seems like one of those bonkers movies that I should just see. Even if it's terrible, it will be worth seeing because it'll be something I've never seen before, right? And can
I just say, when I first saw the trailer, I didn't think it was Robin Williams, but I thought I do think that the marketing was not great. We can get into that a little bit, but the marketing was like, I just assumed this was made up.
Right.
And it is just an ape, and he's just an ape living in a human world. I don't know how that works scientifically or fantastically, like whatever, but it's just some made up music biopic. We've had stuff like that before, like That Thing You Do.
A Star Is Born,
A Star Is Born. Yeah, like we've had fictional biopics before.
Yeah.
And it's just this one has an ape. And I just thought, oh, that's kind of interesting. I'm not interested in it, partly because the music was pop and that's not my thing. And then much, much later, I found out it was a real person, and I was so confused. Not that they chose to do the ape thing. I know that's fine, but the marketing was very strange. But we can get into that later.
Yeah, it's funny that, because I do think it's confusing, but it is funny how like 2 minutes into the movie, it's like, oh, okay, I get it.
I mean, yeah.
And it's like,
all you have to do is see the movie.
But it's literally like, I thought maybe they'd have to take some hurdles, or like if you didn't know that going in, you'd be really confused. And it's like the first 30 seconds, really, when he narrates, you're like, okay, I understand. Yeah. Well, I gotta.
Okay, fine.
So, I am like, this is exactly the bonkers crap that I want to see. So I tell Grayson about it, and I see that David Ehrlich gives it a 3.5-star review, which he's famously really harsh on movies to what I think. So I was like, man, he's giving it 3.5. It's a good movie. Like, it's not bad if he's getting it 3.5. We get our tickets, and we're seeing this movie, and there will be light spoilers throughout this. We may even spoil the whole thing, but it is a true story. But if we convince you at any point, just pause it, watch it, and then finish the episode, okay? Mm-hmm. But the movie's going along, and I'm like, oh, I'm finding this quite charming. We are doing a biopic where it's all the way from the beginning, all the way to present. So I'm like, that's, dangerous.
Yeah.
That's a lot of ground to cover. But I'm like, man, they really have a pretty narrow focus on this movie with his father and the addiction to fame. And I'm like, okay, it's kind of working. And then they start playing gay clubs. And I turn to Grayson and I go, this movie got infinitely more interesting. And then Rock DJ comes on. And it's... because
this movie is also a musical.
Maybe the most triumphant scene of 2024. And I go, okay, I like this movie and it's really good. Am I crazy? And then as the movie's progressing, I'm just keep thinking like, this is like good. This is like a good movie. This is really good. And then at the end with the father stuff, I was like, this is a great movie. And then if you want to take over and explain the preceding weeks of living with me.
Oh, he just says he's talked about it like every day since he's seen it. I've had to hear him talk about it to other people and then talking about it to me. And it's just like, I get it. It's a good movie. You'll make me watch it eventually. I get it. Okay. So he just has talked about it nonstop.
And on top of all that, the funniest thing I think is that in my head, my crazy brain, I knew I was talking about it too much and I could not stop talking about it. I mean, you may think Jordan is being hyperbolic. I'm pretty sure for at least 3 weeks, there was not a day where I didn't talk about the movie.
We would be talking about something, and it's just clearly someone that wants to talk about it, but that you're having a conversation with them, and they think that it relates to the conversation. And like, oh yeah, that reminds me. That reminds me of this thing that happened in Better Man 2. And it's like, okay.
So I felt like when I was showing you this movie, I was kind of worried because I had talked it up so much.
I think because you talked about it so much, I really, it curbed my expectations just in case.
Yeah.
But then I also, on Letterboxd read at least Patrick's review.
Yeah.
Probably someone else's. And Patrick's not been the best indicator for me lately.
No, last year in movies, what the world?
He had a pretty, long, a paragraph of a review.
It might not have been him. Because I think he just said, hey, it's me, the guy who hates music biopics. This movie's good.
Oh, then maybe it was someone else. And it was a good, the way they reviewed it was piqued my interest.
Yeah. So then it's on Paramount Plus. And I'm like, Jordan, can we watch it? Now, would you like to talk about your experience?
Well,
With
we
you
had to
seeing
watch it in 2 parts.
Yes, we did.
Um,
Which I could have gone all the way but it was like 10:30 already, and you were like,
we
no.
still had like a lot of the movie left, and I think I refrained from expressing
You did.
how I felt about the movie.
I also was a little terrified that like the sheen would go off, and I'd watch the movie and be like, oh, okay, this actually.
Yeah.
I was just caught up in a moment.
Yeah, but we finished it, and I really liked it. It was really good.
And then tell them what happened like 2 days later.
Oh yeah,
because after the movie,
the movie ended, and one of the notes I had, which is not a movie thing, it's like I really like the movie. That's not one where I'm gonna go like listen to the music because I just don't like pop music.
Yeah.
And then like the next day I was out and about and I sent Micah
a screenshot
that I was listening to the soundtrack.
And I was just like, I can't believe it. It worked. Yeah. And you were pretty much like, yeah, it was a good movie. I liked it. There were some issues. And then like a couple weeks ago, I was like, would you watch that again? And you were like, yeah, of course. It was really good.
I'd watch it again. we did not rewatch it to record this, by the way.
No, because it's like burned in my memory.
It is. And it's very rare for us not to do that. But man, I love that we didn't have to.
Yeah.
Just time-wise.
It's more of a time thing. I would love to watch it again.
I would so rewatch it. Yeah, it was good. I do still have some notes, but
yeah.
That was a good movie. Just getting back to the marketing though.
Yeah, let's dive into the marketing.
I just think that they did not I think that they had too much trust in, I'll just even say, American audiences.
Sure.
That American audiences know who Robbie Williams is.
Yep.
Again, I'm not a pop person. I don't like pop. Therefore, I don't know hardly anything about it. So I'm not necessarily the right, like, I'm not going to know who it is anyway. But I do think that they could have done better at, like, this is my pitch for a trailer.
Yeah.
Is at some point, whatever, you have a shot of Robbie Williams about to go perform. And he's doing voiceover. And maybe he says the monkey thing, like I always felt like a monkey, and then he like gets out on stage and he's a monkey, and then the rest of the trailer he's just the ape.
Yeah, yeah.
And one of those things where it's like that's not even in the movie,
right?
Like,
right.
But they do that so that it's just like that is a real. Just so you know, that's a real person.
Yeah. Who
was and is massively successful in another country.
Yeah, well, and so here's another thing. So I agree with you. Another thing that's weird is right now we're in this weird trend where people who are advertising musicals are scared to advertise that they are musicals. So like if you go back and watch like the Mean Girls musical trailer, I don't think there's any music in it. There's a couple times where there's movement that looks like dancing,
okay.
But it's like you don't actually. It doesn't say this is a musical.
Oh, okay.
And so
I'm sure that they advertised in this movie that this is the Greatest Showman guy, right?
They did say
because
it was
that movie
Greatest
did well.
Showman. Yeah. But
and that was another thing for me initially where I was like, nope, not watching this.
Yeah.
Because
well, and
just everyone who's seen The Greatest Showman is like, that's one of the best movies ever. And everyone needs, I mean, they probably feel how I feel about Bradley Cooper about things and how people feel about when you talk about Better Man. But I will not watch that movie and stop telling me to watch it.
Yeah.
I'm not watching that movie.
I will watch it. And I bet I will maybe like it because I'm now a Michael Gracie fan.
Great. Don't do it around me and don't tell me that you did it.
Well, you'll see on Letterboxd. Although I have seen the because there's some people who are like, oh, I've seen The Greatest Showman, I wouldn't watch Better Man. Maybe you're thinking that. I have seen a lot of the critics that I follow who liked Better Man did not like Greatest Showman or liked Better Man and are like Greatest Showman, but they're like, it's not that good.
Yeah.
So it feels like this is like an upgrade to people.
Okay.
And also when I was seeing this movie, I didn't know it was a musical, and I was like, okay, this is cool.
Yeah.
Because what it does, and I believe the only other movie I can think of that does this, and I haven't seen it, should watch it, is Rocket Man.
Yeah.
They do a smart thing, which as you and I have discussed ad nauseum, this should be like the baseline for any music biopic, is that they take Robbie Williams songs and take that songs, which was the boy band he was in, and they make those the thematic songs in the movie throughout the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And it rocks so hard.
Mm-hmm. This movie to me, it kind of like tricks it because it's a very basic biopic. It just follows like all the numbers basically.
Yeah, totally.
But it kind of tricks you into not thinking it is, and I think that's part of it is because it's musical heavy.
Well, yeah, and I think
It's also an interesting story.
It is absolutely an interesting story. He's an interesting guy. There is a lot of stuff that's unique in this, but sometimes, like a genre or something that happens, like a rise and fall of a musician, is something that like most famous musicians go through.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, it is like, unfortunately, so many of the stories are similar.
Yeah, and so it's like, how do you find a way into that? And sometimes it is like let's just use a different genre of movies, but like if you have like a murder mystery. There's ways you can like reinvent the murder mystery, and then there's ways to just do it really well. And then there's just little extra things, like the Knives Out movies would be an example of this, I think, where it doesn't reinvent the murder mystery by any means, but it'll just do enough little twists that you're like, that's pretty original and different. And I think this is that movie where it's like you have the ape thing, you have the music thing, like the musical aspect of it, and that's enough that it makes it so much more interesting than your standard music biopic.
Because of the musical aspect of it, there are some sequences of this movie that are just so incredible to look at.
Absolutely. And I'll say this too. A lot of people try their musical stuff. I think Michael Gracie's better at this than most people.
At what?
At like making these musical moments like have like they're actually shot well.
Oh.
They look good.
Yeah.
You can see what the people are doing. We're not doing we're doing close-ups when we need to, but it's like you're actually seeing like a dance number. You and I have decried this so many times. We'll throw on a random Bollywood movie and it'll be a crappy movie too, and we watch the dance sequences in it, and we're like, this is better than like the last 20 years of dance sequences in American films. Now, West Side Story, of course, is not a part of this conversation because that's all-timer. And there's obviously exceptions. But it's like even their worst movies over there, it seems, from our limited viewing of Bollywood and Indian movies, they seem to like always nail the dance sequences. Although there's a couple of examples.
I mean, not always. It's not 100%.
No,
but yeah.
But like the average is really high. And watching this, I'm like, oh, this guy knows how to shoot dance sequences in a way that a lot of other people don't. Yeah. So, there were, and it's pretty funny because, no shade to A Complete Unknown. I loved that movie. I don't have problems with it. It's a great movie.
That movie shouldn't have been a musical, though.
Oh, no.
By the way.
But it was just funny because there was kind of a little joke amongst people who had seen Better Man, which was like, because it was in the theaters at the same time as Wicked, and it was in the theaters at the same time as A Complete Unknown. And it was like, yeah, there's a music biopic in theaters right now. There's one that is standard and sucks, and then there's one that's great. The joke is the Bob Dylan one wasn't very good, and this one was good. And the same there was the other joke of like, there's two musicals in theaters right now. One of them sucks and is making a ton of money, and then the other one is really good and not making any money.
Yeah.
Now, I think the Bob Dylan movie is actually great.
It is great.
I love it, and I think about it almost every day too.
My dad's seen it like 6 times now, by the way.
It's a great movie.
Yeah.
It's a really great movie. And doesn't really follow the formula either.
It's a time capsule, just a moment.
Okay, but Better Man.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it some more.
Yeah.
What do you got?
Oh. So this movie, in this movie, Robbie Williams and the actor who is the ape, they both voice him.
Okay.
Because you told me it was just Robbie.
Yeah.
But the actor also does a lot.
Oh, is there a description of what that means or is?
From what I saw, it sounds like... Okay, so Williams himself narrates the film and also provides the voice of himself in the film's final scene. But I think everything else is the actor.
Oh, okay.
And the actor kind of looks like Robbie Williams, funny enough.
Does he really?
In my opinion.
Oh, okay.
Like, a little bit.
I'll have to look at him.
So there's that. They both voice.
Yeah, okay. That's interesting.
And, yeah, this movie is described as a satirical musical. It covers 3 decades of Robbie Williams stardom. Let's see. Yeah, Williams re-recorded many of his songs featured in the film. And then I guess there's not that many interesting things.
Yeah. Well, it's not in the Criterion Collection yet.
So principal photography took place in Melbourne. And then they also did concert scenes from his Live at the Albert show in 2001 that were filmed at Royal Albert Hall in London.
Oh, cool.
During Williams' concert appearances there on the 6th and 7th of November in 2022. Members of the public were able to purchase bargain price tickets to attend an evening dress for the gigs. So you had a real audience there.
That's cool.
And that's pretty much it. So yeah, there are Take That songs, there are his solo songs. But for the movie, they are re-recorded.
Yeah. Yeah, and
so it's fun to be able to listen to both versions.
This was another thing when I saw this movie, folks, because again, maybe you're just like, yeah, but I don't know who this guy is. I don't care. I did not know a single song in this movie except for Frank Sinatra's
My
Way. And then there's the na 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 na, that melody.
Yeah.
That's a song. I don't remember what that song is called, but that's an old song.
Mm-hmm.
And they're covers in the movie that are important to him and are thematic. And so when I left the movie, I was like, okay, I think there was like 4 or 5 of those songs that I thought were pretty great. And then I made a playlist on my Apple that had the original song and then the song from Better Man. And I went through and listened to them, all the while texting Grayson about all the differences and stuff. And if you're obsessive like I am, boy, was it satisfying for my brain to hear all the differences. Because it's not just like, oh, he just re-recorded the song. We're talking about like the first song in the movie when he is a young child and he's singing... I'm forgetting the song. I'm going to have to look it up. Oh no,
I don't know what it's called.
But he's singing the song. It's like if you compare it with the original song, it is completely different.
Oh, okay.
And this one is led Feel is the song. The other songs like has like the classic like early 2000s drums and guitar, and this song is like piano and orchestral.
Oh, okay.
And it's they've like changed the vocals to sound like a young child singing, and it totally...
The child's just not singing it?
I would imagine that it's not.
Oh.
You'd have to sing so well as a young child.
I guess I know
to, like,
that. Yeah.
Get that. But it just has this, like it recontextualizes the song. I mean, it'd be so interesting if you were intimately familiar with Robbie Williams music, because you'd have such a different experience than I had. Mm-hmm. But hearing the originals and then hearing the other ones, a lot of them I think are a lot better actually in this movie.
Yeah.
Though Rock DJ, I love the movie version, but the main version just has a little more oomph to it. And that would be the point. If you're watching the movie and you're like, I just don't know. Once you get to Rock DJ, when they've hit it big and they're dancing in the streets and they're air humping the old ladies, which is part of the dance move and funny. Don't think it's graphic. It's not. If you're not sold on this, then first of all, make sure that you have a soul in your body. That's number 1. Number 2, start going to church, okay? Because you got a problem. Number 3, just kidding. But number 3, you probably don't like the movie at that point. If you don't, that's like when I was fully in.
Yeah.
So should we go through some of it, or do you just want to keep talking about it in general?
I mean, yeah, we could go through some of it. Yeah, so it does start when he's a child. He grows up in some part of England that is like where poor people live.
Yeah.
Like white. He basically makes me think that he's white trash.
Yeah,
I think that's how the equivalent. And the interesting stuff, of course. Yeah, the thing about music biopics is if you have nothing to say, you're already starting. Like, you shouldn't be making the movie.
Yeah.
So this movie does have something to say. It is especially about his relationship with his father. So from an early age, you see that his father wanted to be famous and a star. So he's a comedian.
Like a jazz singer,
but a comedian too.
Yeah.
Like a Red Skeleton or something would be my guess. That's American. So I don't know what the British equivalent would be. But like an
Alan Partridge.
Aha.
I mean, he wanted to be Frank Sinatra, though.
Oh,
I mean,
that's
they make
true.
that
Frank
very
Sinatra.
clear
There you
in
go.
the movie.
Yeah. So, and his, him as a kid just idolizes his father, and then his father, his father leaves his family to pursue his dream of becoming famous.
Yeah.
And just abandons them, and left his mom to raise him alone with his grandma. Which, was that his dad's mom or his mom's mom?
I feel like it was the dad's mom.
I had the ssame feeling too.
But I don't know
remember.
if it was clarified.
I only saw it the one time.
Yeah.
But he, especially because it's like his dad left to go to a football game, and he just never came back.
Yeah.
And it's just that sad kid thing where it's like, my dad's off being a famous person, and he would check in very rarely, but his dad's dream was his dream. And basically his dad instilling in him that if you're not famous, if you're not loved by, a ton of people, what worth do you have?
You're a nobody.
So damaging for a child.
Yeah, and this is another thing that I think puts this movie way above other music or famous biopics. Is this movie is so nakedly about the pursuit of fame.
Yeah.
It is like that is like the thesis of the movie. And what's more interesting is it's not like Robbie Williams is dead. He's a producer on this movie. He's acting in this movie, like with his voice. He's doing all this stuff. And he's basically saying, the reason I wanted to do all this was because I wanted to be famous. He's not like, I was Picasso and I always had this painting in my head. He's like, I wanted to be famous and I wanted people to worship me. That's why I did this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And for a movie to be
he knew that from the beginning. It didn't take him the whole movie to, storytelling wise, to discover that. It's like, no, he was very honest about that with himself.
And he is an artist and he wrote music and the movie does touch on that. He's not like there is a genuine
he has talent.
Yeah, but it's like his motivation is to be loved by everyone and to be famous. And you just don't see movies that are like that.
Yeah.
Because it's also so empathetic to him.
Yeah.
It's not like like Vice or something where it's like they went into that movie like to make a movie to criticize Dick Cheney. Which, hey,
wait, what? You're comparing Robbie Williams to Dick Cheney?
Oh, no, what I'm saying is, and I'm fine with this perspective, by the way, but like Adam McKay and company, they went into that movie to like put someone down, which I'm not sure is the most honest way to approach an artistic subject.
Yeah,
maybe. I know I've written some songs out of anger and stuff like that. But it does feel like if you're writing a movie, like you do need to find like the heart of why they tick, and like that movie, I'm not sure that it succeeds in that. It's just like I like money and I want to screw the world, and I don't know if that's like really the like gets to the heart of someone. Whereas this movie, it's like nakedly about these things, but it's also extremely empathetic to Robbie. So you see
you do
the
want,
good and
you
the
do
bad.
Want him to succeed, especially because you see him come
now,
from...
I don't like Dick Cheney, though, for the record.
You see him come from such a destitute, more or less, white trashy situation, and not having a father, idolizing his father, and you want him to like figure it out. You want him to find self-worth. And throughout the whole movie, you see him finding self-worth in all of the wrong things.
Yeah.
But there are moments where it's like, there, just hold on to that and you'll be okay and all this stuff. But when he's like 15, he auditions for just random auditions for a boy band.
Yeah.
And he gets it. So he's in Take That. And this is when boy bands are...
and it's so great because he comes in and does his audition. He does like a show tune.
Yeah.
And the guy's like, what are you, like, leave. What are you doing?
Yeah.
And then he just... And I believe that this is how it went down. I don't know. We don't know exactly. But he's basically like... He sees that he's not getting it. Yeah. And then he's like, so you want me to go tell everybody that they lost the part or whatever? And then he says some
what he auditions is his personality.
Yeah, and he says some like snide comment and then winks at him and then like leaves. And then he gets it like weeks later when the guy calls him or whatever.
So this is a time. So this is when is this? The late 80s probably?
This is like the early 90s, I believe.
Okay, so
I'll look up when
boy
their
bands,
first album came out.
Like have been a thing are a thing gonna become even more of a thing, right?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Well, I think
Because I just can't remember where they fall.
the movie,
They're not like one of the first or anything, but they get huge.
yeah, the movie kind of makes it feel like they're on the wane.
Yeah,
Because the
they
guy,
meet with that one producer.
so this is 92 when their
exec-
first album comes out.
92.
So early 90s, late 80s.
Yeah, because they meet with that one executive guy, and he's like, "Boy bands, no one cares about them anymore." But
yeah.
then it's pretty clear that people do, like girls do.
Yeah, and there, I mean, I think that's, I mean, the 90s is like NSYNC and the other one, they're about to,
Backstreet Boys.
Yeah, they're back. All right.
You see, I just especially just don't know British pop, so I have like no idea.
Right.
But I would, and it's fine that this movie didn't do it, but I would, there's got to be some book out there I could read or something. Because I am interested in like, how does someone is even interested in making a boy band? So this guy who's like not attached to anything.
Yeah.
I mean, other than probably he's probably done some stuff in general in that world.
Yeah.
But it's like, okay, my next business venture is I'm going to assemble a boy band.
Right.
And
Well, would you like to know how the boy band started?
in general?
Yeah.
Okay.
4 fabulous lads from Liverpool.
Okay, yeah. Well, I get that. I know that. But they actually played instruments. And
No.
they became a band because they decided to, not because they had auditions
No,
to do it.
but I really do think.
But I know you have the Monkeys,
like,
which are like, they auditioned to be the Monkeys. Like, they
Right.
didn't all just like grow up with each other and know each other.
But I think the Beatles, not that they did that, but they established that paradigm where it's like, oh my gosh, 4 like
it's so
cute
lucrative.
people who we control in a certain way will like,
No, I get that. I get that. I just mean like kind of by this moment in history.
No, I know, because it's a different version of that for sure.
And it's like none of them play instruments, but we still call them boy bands. I guess
except for George. George plays an instrument. Remember, he plays piano and he grew up playing in the clubs.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, yeah, but
well, I mean,
no, I know. It's just like
do you know how
they're
many
not.
Take That fans are pissed at you right now?
I just don't. I guess probably from this guy who's assembling them.
Yeah,
He just needs one of them to be a songwriter. He doesn't need all of them, right? Because that's kind of how they made it sound like. That one guy was a songwriter, and he was the one who was musically talented.
Yeah.
And then he just puts everyone else around him that have different personalities that fit the vibe.
They just had to like be able to carry a tune.
But doesn't it just sound weird? I just sound so stupid. But it's like this grown man is interested in all of these like 15-year-old boys.
Oh no, I think there's something strange about it.
And like I can make money off of them, and of course, but then on top of that, so what he does with them is, guys, we're gonna start. Basically, you're gonna pay your dues by playing in gay clubs.
Yeah,
because that's gonna give you your cachet to eventually start playing at normal. You know what I mean by normal.
Yeah.
Not gay clubs, just for like anybody.
Yeah.
So that girls can like become obsessed with you.
Yeah.
But by then you already have like the sex appeal that you've learned about yourself.
Yeah.
And I guess just like getting a buzz around about you guys, but it's just so fascinating.
It's
and it's
pretty
just
wild.
fascinating that he did think like we're gonna start in gay clubs.
I know. And
I mean, they never got into any of it with anyone in particular, but none of them seemed to be gay.
Well, I mean, Robbie did say,
oh, okay.
What does he say? He says something like, my gay friend said that I was never good in bed, and it didn't bother me that people knew I slept with men or something like that. It bothered me that I was bad in bed. He says something to that effect. But I don't know if it's a joke.
Yeah,
or not. But
yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know if that was during that time or if it's just, experimenting with Oasis later or something like that.
He did?
No, I don't think so.
Because I didn't get that impression either.
No. But Oasis is in this movie.
Yeah.
Big year for Oasis.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they do that. They hit it big. They do rock DJ, which is just jaw dropping, and
yeah, it's really fun.
I mean,
but then when they show them play other shows,
yeah,
I cannot, and I'm sure that this is all real. The costumes that they have them in, because they're too much fun to just make up a different costume.
Yeah.
Some of them are wearing things that are like, no, guys, we're not playing in gay clubs anymore.
Oh, I
like
know.
you were performing
is
to like
weird
a
that, like,
sea of girls.
that
and you're
women would
wearing-
be like, yeah, I
Yeah,
love
like-
that he's in these assless chaps and dressed like the devil.
It was so
Yeah.
strange to me.
It's pretty
Very
odd.
weird. Different time.
Boy, the 90s, wow. But basically, you know, then Robbie's pushing up against it, but he's also addicted to
Very early on,
alcohol.
he gets addicted to alcohol
and
then drugs. But yeah,
and is that the scene where he like is his dad like brings that girl up to his hotel room, or is that when he's a solo artist?
that I don't remember. Probably would have helped to rewatch this movie before recording this. But yeah,
Well,
his
just
dad.
come on.
So he gets famous, and then his dad's like, "Hey, remember, I'm your dad, and I support you, and I love you."
Yeah,
But really, he just is trying to ride on his son's coattails because his dad went off to get famous
Yeah.
and never amounted to anything,
yeah,
basically. And then not only is his dad just riding on his coattails, you know, it's like, now I want to be involved in your life. I think I could be really helpful for you. And it's like, no, you just want a free ride on my
Yeah.
fame. His dad is also,
because he tells him that he has depression and that
Yeah.
he's taking pills for it, and he's like, "How can you be depressed? You're at the top of the
but yeah,
world."
his dad is just presumably going around telling people who he is, like, I'm Robbie's dad,
Yeah,
and then just like sleeping with his fans.
I'm not a great guy.
That's disgusting.
Yeah,
So gross.
and that girl's so much younger than him.
Yeah.
It's weird.
But yeah, that was one of the first moments in the story when his dad does say, someone tells him, how could you be this miserable?
Yeah.
Look at this.
Like, you have it all. Like, suck it up.
Yeah.
Um,
And throughout his time in Take That, he wanted to have a more like integral role as a songwriter, but they never. They in the movie they made it seem like he was the weakest link.
yeah,
I'm curious, you know, because this is about he's involved in his own story about
Yeah.
this. Sometimes it's like, is that just how you felt?
maybe that was his perspective. You know,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
his.
yeah.
This movie is his point of view too.
It
It's
is.
not.
But
it's not the George movie.
that's what this movie posits the story, that he's the weakest link and he quits the group.
Yeah. And then he meets this girl, and I don't remember what band it's from, but she is from a famous band. Are you
Mhm.
looking it up right now?
Well, I'm at least looking up who she is.
Want to say
Nicole Well, the it's Rochelle Bano is the actress in the
Okay.
movie. Nicole Appleton.
Nicole Appleton. And here we have jaw-dropping moment number 2 in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this made me cry both times I saw it. I'm being a little hyperbolic, but I really, really teared up because they have a dance. See, and here's something with the
Oh, I
advertising
recognize
campaign.
her.
Okay.
Oh, I never looked her up after watching the movie. She's
Well-
Canadian, but she's a member of the British girl group All Saints.
Okay.
But maybe you recognize her too.
All right. Let me see. Getting closer. Trying not to edit. I don't think I recognize her.
Okay. Just feel like I recognize her as a personality. Maybe she was like a guest judge on American Idol.
Probably. But we have this really, really impactful sequence.
Mhm.
And what it does is it's a montage of their entire relationship.
Mhm.
And they meet and they're having this dance. And it is showing them falling in love, showing them getting pregnant, showing her manager force her to get an abortion,
Mm-hmm.
and showing the fallout of that all in a song. It is devastating.
The song is so good. I remember asking you, is the song actually a duet? Because in the movie it is, and you said no.
No. See,
wow,
that's
it's
the beauty
a
of
great duet.
Yeah, and this one is I'm trying to remember. This one is She's the One.
Yeah.
Um
No, when this one
It's-
started for me, I think I was being a little like, ugh, of course we get to this part of the movie.
well, yeah,
Like,
it's kind of
always
like,
kind of a
okay,
slog.
here we go,
Yeah.
you know.
But man, it was
It
was
is
so good.
So well done. And it's actually a devastating sequence.
So yeah, they
So here's shut up. Here's the other thing that I think that people don't know about the movie is that it's actually a very charming and heartfelt movie.
Mhm.
It is rough. it is like we're seeing this guy in addiction. He's British, so he's dropping the C word every chance he gets. Like, this is it is a R-rated movie.
Uh-huh.
But it is so beautiful, and it's talking about the human experience in delicate and wonderful ways. And I do think the trailer was kind of like, come out and see a monkey snort cocaine. This is crazy. And that is in there, and that is exciting. But it's like, that's not what I'm left leaving the movie feeling. I'm left feeling like hopeful and excited, and seeing someone like get through. It's like a heartwarming story, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, that's what I mean, because you have resolution. Yeah,
and so like, if that's something that you're pushing up against, like, it's heartwarming. And they didn't really stress that in the trailer either. Although I did get an ad after the movie came out, and it was showing sequences from this dance. And then I was like, wait, what movie am I about to see?
Yeah.
But if there was some way to marry
so
the
that
two.
in that song, they basically flashed through the relationship, but then the movie after the song still spends the time of their relationship.
Yeah.
Because it's the next phase in his life.
Yeah.
That they're like in a very loving, committed relationship. She's in this massively successful...
His hair's bleach blonde.
Massively successful pop group that is... It made me think that they were more popular than the band that he was in.
Yeah, I kind of got that impression.
Or at least they were on the rise.
Yeah.
And then he is gone solo, but is too insecure to really let anyone in about it.
Yeah.
And she is trying to encourage him to do that, but he is too scared to.
And then she gets a #1 hit song.
She gets another #1 hit. Well, her group does.
Yeah.
And he can't stand the fact that she is more famous than him. And he, instead of celebrating with her, his fiance, he goes out and parties with Liam Gallagher.
Yeah.
And
Noel.
Okay. And his cronies. Wait, really? Both of them?
Yeah, they were
I thought
both
they
there.
couldn't ever be together.
Well, this was
this is when they were together.
This was before MTV Unplugged.
And yeah, he chooses drugs over her. He chooses the things that are going to help him disassociate from how he truly feels about life, which he hates.
Yeah, but I do think it's an intense moment, and it's like, because I have a child now, I understand. And it hurts for both. So it's like, I'm not trying to judge either person. These are like real people, and like, this is a real situation that happened. But after, he comes back home from the party, and she's like, yeah, you took off, but that's okay. I was, and he's like, did you tell him everything you sacrificed? You didn't tell him everything you sacrificed, did you? You didn't tell him that
he pulls those cards,
that you sacrificed our family. And the way he says it, the way you feel, it is like, I don't know how that would have worked out with them having a child.
Yeah.
But it does feel like, in that moment, like, me as a father, I sympathize with him, that it's like, maybe he would have stepped up and had the kid and like done it. I don't know. I don't think so with that part of his life.
No.
But it is just like, it's so devastating.
It reminded me of Britney Spears.
Yeah.
But yeah. And it's like, how often does this happen? And how often does this happen today?
I know. Where some manager like forces someone to do that.
And it also reminded me of A Star Is Born. Because
Did that happen in A Star Is Born?
No, but when she is huge.
Oh, yeah, and he gets really
her
jealous.
manager tells him, like, you suck, you're the worst, you're the thing that's holding her back. And then what's his response to that? I'm going to kill myself.
Yeah.
Because they were doing okay. They were going.
But remember, he's pretty upset with her. But that's much like Better Man. There's that scene where she's in the bathtub and she's like exploding. And he's like, you used to be like interesting. You used to write good music.
Oh, well,
and now
he's challenging her for sure.
But in that moment, it's like, it's because he's jealous.
Yes.
But at the same time, it's like she's totally like not an artist anymore. Like, she's writing crap, like Gene's song or whatever, which is, it's a bop. But, and he's just like, what are you doing? But it's motivated by his jealousy, which I think is kind of like what Robbie's going through.
What I mean by fun is the complicated nature of of people.
Yeah. That's why it's good that you do different art than I do.
That you do different art than I do.
You do different art than me, okay? And I do different art than you,
Well, I mean, you're probably the reason why you probably killed my iPad so that I couldn't.
Are you seriously going to blame me?
So I couldn't.
Do you actually believe that, don't you?
Are you serious? Do you seriously think that I think that?
Oh, I thought you meant because I used that one app that you were thinking that killed it.
No, I think that you intentionally killed my iPad.
Oh, okay. So you were
that-
doing a joke and I got insecure before you even got to the joke.
Fun new life development. My iPad died while in the middle of me working on it, and I can't get anything out of it. Can't get it to turn back on. Lost everything.
So it's a wonderful time to become a patron.
Yeah, seriously.
But yeah, so he keeps on going through his destructive cycle, and we haven't even really talked about the fact that, you know, he's an ape in the movie. I mean, we talked about it, but the effects in this movie, this is Weta. You know, they're taking all their Planet of the Apes and they're plugging it in. Really phenomenal stuff. And there's some stuff in this that, to me, it's the normal shots that really blow me away. For example, there's a scene where he's cutting his hair and the clumps of hair fall. And I just don't get that. I just don't get how you make clumps of hair look realistic. And there was a phase when he was a little more overweight, and they put this like suction suit on him.
Yeah, that's wild. I didn't know things like that existed.
I didn't know either. And you're just like, I'm just watching a chimpanzee in a suction suit, and this all looks real to me. What is this?
I know.
What, you know?
Yeah, it is incredible what they do.
I mean, last year was a pretty wild year of movies I had the opportunity to see in theaters. I mean, number 1 with a bullet, I saw Lawrence of Arabia. Number 2, I saw Gone with the Wind. Number 3, I saw Planet of the Apes. And number 4, I saw Better Man. And you know what? I think those trump all the rest of the movies I saw last year. Because this right here, Better Man, it's pure freaking cinema. Yeah, I enjoyed The Brutalist. It was good. Was it Better Man? No.
Yeah. But yeah, in case we haven't mentioned it yet, the reason he is an ape is because Robbie Williams has always felt like an ape, in terms of he's always felt different.
Yeah,
that's
well,
how they personified.
What was cool, I read a little thing where Michael Gracie was just, I guess, like hanging out with a bunch of people, and and he just kept on being around Robbie, and he kept hearing him talk about himself, and they just kept talking, and so I think he started like taking some notes, and he's like, this is kind of interesting. And then he just kept noticing how often he said, I just felt like I was a monkey, like I was a show monkey, or I was a performing monkey.
Yeah. And
he just kept using that phrase. And then there's imagery in stuff that he's done, like videos and stuff like that, of monkeys. And so he has just felt like that. And Gracie's just like, when Gracie went to the studio with the idea, he was like, we do it with the monkey, or we do not make this movie at all, period. And I just like, hell yeah.
Yeah.
This guy's the real deal. And I'm so glad that they canceled, or they're postponing, but probably canceling Tangled, so that he can work on something else that's more interesting.
Yeah. Well, let's get into what is that show that he
Nebworth,
played?
Of course.
So Networth. What?
Nebworth. Yeah, he plays
Neb or Nep?
Neb.
Okay.
He plays and this is the crazy thing, you're watching and you're like, really? Like more than like Queen or something like that? But he plays the biggest show in British history up to that point.
Yeah. So do you know how many people were there? Do you remember?
He says, but
like 100,000? No.
It's
like,
a lot. It's like 200,000
right?
or something
What?
like that. It's crazy.
So before I saw this movie, you showed me the live performance, just the real one, on YouTube.
Let me entertain you. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the song. First Robbie Williams song I've ever heard.
Yeah.
First time ever laying eyes.
Although you said you had heard Angels before.
I feel like
dies.
I feel like actually I had. So I guess I'm wrong. But basically, the first time I'm becoming cognizant of this person.
Yeah.
Is you showing me this show, which is just a sea of people.
Yeah.
That I can't help but think,
why do people go to these?
Why do people go to these
when
things?
they're that far away?
Yeah. And he gives such a great performance.
Yeah.
And there is ape imagery.
Yeah.
There. And then when we watch the movie, they're talking about Nebworth a lot leading up to him doing it. And then he's got the suction suit on, talking to his oldest friend, which is such a sad
Yeah, because he basically is like, you don't understand me, get out of here.
Well, his friend's like, you just snorted what I make in a month.
Yeah.
And he's like, you don't understand me, get out of here. But then he's trying to catch his friend because he is like, I'm alone, help me. But his friend's like, screw you, dude.
Yeah.
and his house is completely trashed. This guy, he's just a druggie.
Yeah.
But he is like preparing for Nebworth, and they make it seem like it's the lowest point of his life. Like he is like every day battling with killing himself or not.
Yeah, and his dad comes and
this is right before he does it.
Yeah,
he's like floating in his pond. Right?
Yeah, and you think he like attempted suicide or something like that, but he's just like
that's one of
not
the sequences.
Responding.
I think there was a song there where the sequence was super cool with the water or something. It's where he like drives out of. No, I'm getting it confused with a different song. But yeah, he like is swimming and all the paparazzi and stuff are like trying to grab him. So there's like this fantasy element to the movie. It just looks so cool. But basically, as we're watching it, I said, wait, so that Nebworth performance you showed me, this is what he was going through when he did that show?
Yeah.
And you were like, oh yeah, I guess so. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I just assumed for someone to have to be at that caliber to do the biggest show in British history, he has made it through all of this crap.
Yeah.
And this is like his triumphant return.
Yeah.
But no, this is like the worst part of his life. And then he has to do the show on top of it.
Yeah.
Which is funny because I remember thinking while watching it, I've never seen this person before.
Yeah.
But thinking like he looked a little chubby.
Yeah.
And then to think that he was wearing that suit while performing.
No, he wasn't wearing the suit while performing.
Oh, does that suit just help you?
That suit it's a vacuum that like pushes your body in and then you take it off.
Oh, I thought you performed in it.
No. It's like you use it.
That sounds really unsafe.
Oh, I think so. But it's like a corset. It's like a vacuum corset. Then you take it off and your body should start like forming certain ways.
Ew.
That's my understanding of it anyway.
Weird.
I had never seen or heard of it before. It's crazy though.
Yeah. But here's the thing.
Yeah.
I thought he looks a little chubby.
Yeah.
And I thought like not really knowing anything about this person, like, oh, he has like gone through a lot and he has recovered and he looks healthy.
Yeah. He's not like some really skinny, famous person who like doesn't eat or something.
Yeah. But it's like, no, I'm just looking at someone who is doing very poorly, eating poorly.
Yeah.
Like on drugs, drinking nothing, like has probably not had water in like 6 months.
Right.
Like only drinking alcohol. Just crazy.
Yeah.
And he entered that stage upside down.
He did. I don't know how he got down fast enough.
I think that's my favorite song.
Yeah, it's a great song. It's a great song.
Yeah.
And the studio recording is also great too. They're both great.
I don't know if I probably have by now. But that in the movie devolves into him fighting himself.
Yeah,
versions of himself.
Okay, maybe you're like, yeah, I don't know, but I'm not the kind of guy who watches a movie that doesn't have an action scene. Well, how about a scene where a man is battling his inner demons, literally?
It's something that this is a thing that they do throughout the movie. Is at every performance of his, he will be performing and see himself in the audience, and he sees a version of himself judging him.
Yeah.
I like that a lot, too.
Yeah, me too.
As an ape, judging himself.
And then eventually he hits rock bottom, and then he kind of makes his way out. I mean, that's what you expect.
Does he do AA? Doesn't he do something like that?
Oh, that's right.
To rehab.
That's right. He goes to rehab, and there's a great thing which I had never heard, and I'm like, that makes so much sense. Where he says he's like talking, and he goes, They say that when you get famous, whatever age you get famous at is the age that you are for the rest of your life. And he's like, so I'm 15.
Yeah.
And when you think about that, it's like, man, if that is true, and I know it's an idea, it's not necessarily something that's true or not. It's like, that makes sense why everyone like who gets so famous so early, like can't cope with life because they don't have the skills to do it.
Well, it makes me think of athletes.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Like are 21 years old. And then they get like a $5 million contract.
Yeah.
And like they hardly had. So one day they had no money. The next day they have $5 million. They're a millionaire.
Yeah.
And like why it makes sense that so many athletes cannot control that.
Yeah.
And what comes with that is, and then the fame on top of it. And then they devolve into drugs and alcohol and violence because they can't handle the pressure.
Yeah. Yeah, and then we have this great sequence,
and the pressure of never mind. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. We have this great sequence set to the song Better Man. And what's really cool on the music nerd part of it, I was listening to, when I listened to the both songs, the original recording, it gets to the end of each chorus and it goes, and I'm doing the best I can to be a better man. Does that. And again, it's more like early 2000s, kind of that soft rock vibe. In the movie, he's making reparations for everybody. He's like cleaning up his life. He's going to AA. And every time it gets to the chorus, it goes, and I'm doing the best I can. And then the music will move, and it's more orchestral, it's more piano, and he won't say it. And then he just sings the chorus again, doing the best I can. Keeps going. And then the last time, when he's like reconciled and he's going to be an okay guy, he says, to be a better man. And I'm like, that is so good. That is so good. And such a wonderful detail on the music side of things, and why it's so powerful to use his own music and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then then there's this moment at the end where he's playing this Albert Hall, you said, Royal Albert Hall?
Yeah.
And he's doing it like the genuine way he's always wanted to do it,
like
which is
Sinatra
like
way.
Sinatra, like it's a club.
It's a band. It's a big band.
And people are like getting drinks and having dinner and stuff like that. And he's performing and he has one more song and he plays My Way, which him and his dad used to sing. And then he invites his dad on stage and they sing it together. And you're like, he reconciled. This is incredible. And his dad turns to him in the song and he goes, "You're one of the gods now."
Yeah.
And you're like, come on. And then, I mean, it's a wonderful, I'm getting goosebumps thinking about the scene, and I can't describe it the way that it hits you by the time you get there. And then at the end of the movie, he's like, "My name's Robbie Williams. I'm
an F and a C."
Well, basically, he's like, I've always wanted to be a performer. I am a performer, and I'm the effing best at it, or something like that. And it cuts the credits, and then you see pictures of him actually performing with his dad at Royal Albert Hall. And you're like, that wasn't just a movie thing?
Yeah, sweet.
It's so good.
And I can't help but think, like, I hope that they really did reconcile and they actually have a normal relationship today, as much as they can, and blah, blah, blah. I hope he's happy.
Yeah, totally.
Because he's not that old.
Robbie?
No.
Yeah, no, I think he's in his 50s.
Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, just got the text from Grayson. He's going to send in a voice memo for this episode.
Great.
To tell his experience.
Great.
So that is better, man. I feel I have presented my case, and I feel that you are a fool if you pass this movie up.
It is really good. It is really, really good.
I love it. Yeah.
I guess my notes on the movie, though, were like, there are just beats and moments that are like, yeah, this is just a kind of a run of the mill movie or a music biopic at points. But for all the other things I said about it, you easily forget about it.
Yeah, it's 10 out of 10 and it's perfect. And I think we agree on that.
Okay.
No, I hear that.
I hear that and I acknowledge that.
Yeah, I hear that and I acknowledge that. Real quick, become a patron, folks. This one's on the main feed and normal. We are just doing patron-only episodes. And so those are the beginning of every month. Got Gladiator 2 next month. Sign up for $3 to get those, or sign up for more. But we also have a free tier now, which sometimes we, put out a couple of free things, free art sometimes, might do a free song here or there. But that's your way to keep up with Jordan and I, because it's super hard to bow to the whims of the social media algorithms that change seemingly monthly. So if you sign up for that, you'll get an email and you'll be able to hear about, upcoming shows I have, upcoming art events, stuff like that.
When does this come out?
This comes out in May.
May what?
May 2 or 3 or first
4
week
or 5 or 6. Yeah. So the only really art thing that I'm doing this year, since this will be on the main feed, is I will be at Rogue Comic Con, Lord willing, if I am still pregnant.
Yeah.
Please pray that I am.
Yeah.
Because I really want to go and I don't want to have the baby until after.
And we want to see Mission Impossible Final Reckoning.
Yeah. That's the week after. But I will be at Rogue Comic Con selling art, including my first illustrated and one that you can buy children's book.
Yeah.
About an alien trying
It's
to find the perfect
so
cheeseburger.
good. And the proof in the pudding, Talia loves it.
Yeah.
And cousins love it too.
Yeah.
So yeah, come to that. But sign up for the free tier if you aren't signed up already. We would really like to get to 100 patrons by the end of the year. That would be awesome. And we are doing some fun stuff. So when we get to 50, we are going to start doing Pixar. And we'll release a couple of those on the main feed, I think. And then when we get to 75, I have an idea that, well, maybe I'll pitch it. 75, maybe I do a show where patrons pick the set, which I think could be cool.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know the logistics of that, but that's my idea. And then 100, we have to do something cool.
Yeah, but let's talk about it later because we got to go watch the rehearsal.
It's true. And then finally, I think maybe we put it on the record that we're about to have another kid, and we're probably not doing any more main feeds, except for releases from Patreon.
There's just no time.
Yeah, unless we get like 500 patrons and this becomes our job.
Yeah.
We just don't have the time to do that anymore.
500 paying patrons, not 500 free newsletter patrons.
Yeah, it probably had to be the top tiers.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's been fun. It's not goodbye.
Yeah.
You're still going to get an occasional episode released if you stay on the main feed only, but we can't really do it. It's just not feasible. If we want to keep being artists too. So
follow us on Letterboxd if you want to know more about what we care about movies.
Yeah.
I guess.
Meltar Man on Letterboxd.
I don't know what I am.
I think you're Jordan McCaw on Letterboxd.
Okay.
A little easier than Meltar Man.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Bye.